I'm JW. I'm here with Shauna Coxsey, professional climber from the UK, who's here for our Baltic Bouldering Championships. Shauna, how you doing?
I am so excited to be here at the Baltic Bouldering Championships, to be in Estonia for the first time, and yeah, I just got to climb, so I'm really excited.
It's your first time in Estonia. What are your first impressions? What do you think?
I've loved being here so much. I feel so welcomed by the community, and the thing that I am most excited about being here for is the buzz that's surrounding climbing right now. You know, that fresh joy is just so, infectious, and I've missed that. I feel like my scene, back in Sheffield, I've been climbing almost 30 years, so it's quite a while. To be around the fresh energy is really great.
Is there anything else about this competition that stands out from other regional competitions you might be used to in the UK or elsewhere?
This competition, I've been so amazed by the excitement surrounding it. So all of the athletes having their own categories, being able to push themselves to their limits within a competition that's got the official rules, it's got amazing route setters with incredible holds, incredible boulders, and an amazing wall. And there's just so much love that's been poured into making this event what it is, and you can feel that, and then you can feel that from the athletes and the climbers that are participating, and you don't get that so much anymore in the climbing scene. So yeah, it is a real privilege to be here.
And you got to climb on some of the women's semi-final boulders. What did you think of those?
I've just climbed on the women's semi-final boulders right now, and they are so good. They are world-class boulders, and for me, it's been so long since I've been in that comp mindset, so I was a little spooked, and took me a little bit of time to ease my way in. But I think they're some of the best comp boulders I've climbed on. I'm really happy that the athletes who are so excited for this event get to climb on some of the best boulders that they'll ever climb on in their lives at this event. Hats off to the route setting team and the organisers and everyone involved, because they're really putting on a show out there.
If you joined the route setting team and could set one boulder for the competition, what would that boulder look like?
I think if I could set one boulder for this competition, it would probably be a crimpy, techy, squirmy boulder. Because I feel like, we're getting into that jumpy, hoppy, poppy scene, and I want to bring back the old school. Although I guess no one here knows what old school is anymore. I'm too old.
Maybe not the kids, but there are some older competitors.
Maybe they'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So maybe stuff that's more akin to the kind of outdoor rock climbing you're spending more time on now?
Yeah, and that's only because I already know that there'll be that compy style in there, and I do love that our sport now represents and showcases a breadth of different styles, and that's what allows the climbers to show their best selves on the walls. So for me, having variety is really important, and I do think they've got that out there in this round, and watching the men's semi-finals was absolutely incredible too, and I have no doubt the finals is going to be such a good show as well.
I heard that you climbed on some rocks in Estonia.
Yeah, I went rock climbing today.
How was that? How were the boulders?
I felt like I couldn't come to a new country with boulders so close by and good weather and not go climbing. So we squeezed a session in. We went on 2 boulders. I believe there's not many more than 2 boulders here. But we found 2 boulders, and they were so much fun, My husband spied a few projects too, so maybe we'll be coming back, who knows. But no, it was really cool to just be out on some fun climbs, not trying to push our limits or anything, just trying to enjoy climbing with our daughter. She climbed too, and yeah, felt like a fun-filled family day out. I would really recommend to Estonian climbers to get out and explore the boulders, because they are good fun.
You think it's worth maybe coming back in the future for
I don't know, there's not many boulders. I'm not going to lie, there's not a ton of boulders. I'd come back for the community and the bouldering gyms, I think I've explored a couple of gyms here, and there's a few more to see still, but what I've seen is really impressive, the route setting and the kind of enthusiasm that's gone into creating spaces that feel welcoming, that are inclusive of climbers of all abilities, and you can feel that when you walk into a climbing gym. So yeah, I think maybe I'd come back with the gyms and not the rocks.
Yeah, totally.
Although there's more to see, so maybe I've not seen what the best is here.
Hopefully it keeps growing and there's even more for you to come back and see again in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you say hopefully, but I have no doubt that the sport is going to keep growing here. It feels like this upward trajectory that's coming is just going to keep rolling because new gyms are opening and teams are building. You know, having this event is so prolific. It's such a huge deal. And to have events like this that do kind of set the standard for events to come as well, you know, this is at the standard of IFSC events, you know, the judging, the route setting, the organisation, and it's so much thanks to the organisers and all the volunteers that make this possible to give the opportunity to the climbers in the community and the surrounding communities to come together and experience an event like this. So the fact that this is happening alone gives me no doubt that this sport is only going to keep growing here.
Is there anything else that you want to do while you're in Estonia?
Just climb on the finals boulders, that's pretty much it. I'm kidding. No, I feel like there's so much more to explore. We've seen a little bit of the old town and it was so beautiful. And yeah, I want to go to the beach too. I feel like the sea might be pretty cold at this time of year, but I'm British, you know, we're used to cold seas, maybe not this cold. But no, I feel like there's still a lot that we want to see here. And also just having a good time. It feels like we have spent a bit of time in climbing gyms now, so maybe we should spend some time outside too.
Yeah,
Not at rocks.
Welcome everyone who's watching this live show from all over the world, I hope. This is Kristina Toots, President of Estonian Climbing Association and just an enthusiastic climber. And with me we have Shauna Coxsey, also an enthusiastic climber.
You said just an enthusiastic climber, Christina, there, but you were competing in the semi-finals, and you were not that far off making finals, so I feel like just is a little bit of an understatement there.
I did compete. If there's a chance, I'll take it.
Nice, I love it.
Well, we are here in the commentators box and commenting the live finals today, which will start in 11 minutes. The athletes have already been presented and you can see the crowd. They're waiting for the finals to start, and we can see that the finalists are observing the boulders. So maybe really quickly I'll go through who's in the finals.
Yeah, and it's cool to have a little look at the athletes doing the observation period. If we go through the climbers and then talk a little bit about what's going on here afterwards, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So I see the men's list first. So this was so exciting for me to see such a lineup, because we have 2 Lithuanians, 2 Latvians, 2 Estonians, 1 Finn and 1 Swede in the men's lineup. This is a real international final, and I'm just so happy that all the Baltic states are represented. So we have the first one that the first one who got in, who won the semi-final round, is Fedir Samoilov. He is representing Latvia and he is originally from Ukraine. We have Petras Kastanauskas, and he really signed up last minute. He's from Lithuania. Rolands Rugens, he's, well, we can stop on the names later on, but he is well known in the circuit. Oiva Laakso from Finland, Joris Leipus from Lithuania, Henrik Blomqvist from Estonia, Reuben Carlson from Sweden, and Alexander Shorikov, legendary Estonian climber. In the women's final, We have also 8 names, and all Baltic states are represented, and Latvian powerhouse with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women is here as well, and we have 1 Estonian, 1 Lithuanian, and 1 Finn as well. So we have first Elsa Baraka from Latvia, Lea Kerski from Estonia / France. She lives in Belgium. Alla Marenic, she is representing Latvia, originally from Ukraine. Ula Korolyova from Lithuania. Julia Silina from Latvia. Aleksandra Misukevich from Finland. Elsa Kliceja from Latvia, and Santa Vilka from Latvia.
Such a good lineup, and to see so many different nationalities represented out there, that must feel pretty good, like knowing that this event was coming. And I think there was some nerves around how much take-up there would be with it being an IFSC standard event, you know, with the official format. And I think there was some nerves around whether that might put some athletes off, but it seems to have actually inspired athletes more.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a very typical competition format here in this region, and that's why we're doing it. We need to have an event where actually everyone gets this experience. The athletes get the real experience, the judges, the route setters, the organizers. So we really try to make it also an educative competition for everyone.
Yeah, so going through the qualification round, you could see there was a lot of learning going on. You use the European format for the IFSC events, but in the finals we'll see the World Cup format. That's correct, isn't it?
Well, it's actually the same in IFSC World and Europe, except for the qualification, yes. So we decided to go with the IFSC Europe format because most of the climbers will want to participate in the Europe Cups or Championships. So it made sense to have it in IFSC Europe, but also IFSC Youth World Championships is now different than what it was when you were young.
Yeah, bouldering comps didn't exist when I was young. There was no such, showing my age there. Thanks, Christina. But yeah, no, I think the sport has come such a long way, and of course, development is required. And I think it is important to note about the qualification and the semi-finals, because the athletes we're going to see out here, they competed in qualification, the men and semi-finals yesterday, the women in qualification yesterday, and semi-finals this morning. So they might be looking a little bit tired, but I think they're going to be giving their absolutely best selves out on these mats, and we're getting a good look at the boulders here as they pan through. And I've been chatting with the route setters. I've got a lot of insight into every single one of these boulders, and I don't think I could choose my favourites, so it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, so IFSC Youth World Championships took place just about 3 weeks ago in Helsinki. That's just over the pond, 80 kilometers from here, Tallinn. And I think maybe all of the youth went there as well that were climbing here today. And yeah, they also have the 3+3 format now in IFSC Youth World Championships. And it's kind of much better, or I don't know, as an athlete, is it better? Like the isolation time in the qualifications can sometimes be 6 to 8 hours, right? That's insane. But with this format, it's a flash format. It's a little bit more tough on route setters, because after they've set the routes, they need to film themselves climbing these routes and then send them to all the participants.
I feel like there's a whole debate on which format is best, and I'm a little torn because with the new format, you know, your coaches can shout beta at you, and it maybe favours athletes who have more experienced coaches or countries. But I do think not having 8 hours in isolation is probably going to be everyone's vote. Just to talk a little bit about the format, we mentioned observation briefly, just that we saw the athletes doing on screen at the start of the show. And what happens is the athletes don't get to watch each other. They are in the isolation zone right now. They are presented, and then they'll get 2 minutes to observe each of the boulders. So it's 4 boulders for men, 4 boulders for women. They'll be climbing at the same time. So yeah, they get these 2 minutes, and they can choose whether they talk to their fellow competitors or if they just kind of keep all their ideas to themselves. and then they go back into the isolation zone with that knowledge that they've gained, and then next time they see them, it will be when they get to climb, when it's their rotation.
When you are observing, or when you used to observe when you were still doing the competitions, would you rather be there alone, or you'd go and chat right away with someone?
Yeah, so for context, I'm an ex-professional competition climber turned into a professional rock climber. So yeah, I competed on the world circuit for I think over a decade. And yeah, I've had a fair bit of experience in finals, that's for sure. And I think it changed a little bit throughout my career. I think I was quite nervous initially and wanted to read boulders with other people because it felt like I could gain as much knowledge as possible. And then the more I grew in confidence in my ability to read boulders and to be in that environment, I think the more relaxed I became about feeling out each event and where I was at and the other competitors. Because I think what's easy to forget when watching a climbing competition is, you know, all these athletes on stage, they're real people. They're going to have different moods at different times. Maybe they didn't sleep well. Maybe they've come into this feeling the best they've ever felt. And we get to know a little bit of that from talking to them earlier. But yeah, definitely need to remember that they're all human.
Good to remember that, because sometimes they look like machines.
That is true, and we will definitely see some incredible showcases of strength today, I am sure.
Yeah, sorry, I totally forgot to introduce you.
That's no problem, I don't mind at all. I'm just here to chat about climbing. You just referred to me as a fellow climbing enthusiast, and I appreciate that. I am a fellow climbing enthusiast.
Right. How have you been enjoying Estonia so far?
I am so excited to be here. I was so busy in the lead up to this trip that I wasn't actually sure what to expect of Estonia because I didn't know very much about your wonderful country. But being here and honestly being surrounded by a community that is so passionate and so fresh, you know, it feels like, in fact, you've said yourself, climbing is on the boom here right now. So for me to be in that fresh environment with this really wonderful joy and passion, kind of in every circumstance you go into, and I think this event is like really bringing that all together. So yeah, I'm loving it here. I've sampled some other rock climbing. It was really nice to get out and just been trying to see as much and do as much as possible. I'm quite tired now though, because we've been doing literally as much as we can while we're here.
Well, we are definitely happy that you are here, and I just remember we should also maybe mention where you can see all the live results. They are at climalong.com, and you'll find the competition called Baltic Boulder Championships, and if you click on it then you'll see all of the results. And today we had finals for the youth categories, U15, U17, U19. So if anyone is interested, you'll be able to see who were the winners as well for these competitions. But tonight we are all about the adults. Although many youngsters belong here as well. So as according to IFSC rules, U19 is allowed to compete in adult competitions. So many of them who were in U19, they asked us if they can change the group and instead of competing U19, go to adults directly. So they were there were no U19 girls at the end. Only they all went to the adults category.
They all competed in the adults category.
And one of them is in finals as well.
I think there's a couple maybe.
Yeah, so one of them is Elsa Glicea from Latvia, and she's only 17 years old. And then, we have also Julia Silina, who is 18 years old, so really young ones. But we have some more experienced ones as well. So Alla, for example, and also Santa Vilka, they've been on the scene for a while.
I feel like we should mention the crowd a little bit here because it almost looks we've started, the climbers are on the wall, it's happened without us even realising, and we're looking at the crowd and we've got our first top happening on the left of the screen, top left of the screen just there. Wow, we are underway. We were too busy chatting and the climbing is on the wall already.
Pardon us, Santa. That was Santa who just topped boulder number 1. And we have on men's boulder number 1, we have Alexander Shorikov. He is one of the 2 Estonian climbers that made it to the finals. And we are kind of used to seeing Sasha in the finals, but it's always 50-50 at competitions, isn't it? So, do you know anything about this boulder, Shauna?
Yeah, I just want to say to Santa was so quick there that we missed her send. We're so sorry. So kindly, Alexander has taken his time so we can chat about this a little bit. So these boulders, the women's, we do think we're expecting some tops on that from speaking with the route setters, and we'll definitely be getting a good look at that shortly. The men's, the first move isn't super tricky. However, the footholds, they have texture, but the texture is quite minimal. And then getting into the zone is incredibly difficult. But after the zone hold, this boulder really starts to ramp up.
Yeah, it looks like just getting to the zone is quite tricky.
Yeah, I think we'll see definitely a lot of climbers get the zone as Alexander has done, but I'm not sure how many tops we're going to see on this. I think it's a tricky one just to make those last couple of moves, and it's really not over until both hands are on the top hold. Sometimes, you know, the match is a given, you kind of don't expect anyone to fall, but on this one it's not going to be a surprise if they do, and he's looking much stronger on this attempt than his last.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
it is so hot out there on those mats. And this, when we were reading this boulder with the route setters, a few people came up and asked, what is this zone hold? Is there a jug hidden in the back? And the route setter just looked at them and was like, absolutely not, that is incredibly slopey. So just staying on the zone, as you could see there, is a very strenuous position to be in, let alone to then do a very difficult move to the left to the next black hold.
yeah. And so, yeah, Sasha, aka Alexander, Sasha, he was awarded the zone with his second go. So. And he's going again much stronger this time. He's staying on. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I think he's really struggling in that position, and you can see he's pulling super high up into his shoulders. For the athletes that we expect to be able to move to the left, they're going to need to kind of straighten their arms to be able to get that second hand onto the zone. So we might see a correction here, but I don't know, he's not in the best position here. Maybe he can start straight. That was
nice.
Much better, but yeah, I think he's looking tired on that go, and he's already out of time anyway.
And yes, Santa actually flashed her first route.
Yeah, I can believe that. She was so quick that none of us even realised she was on the wall until she was on the top hold.
And now, next up, we have
yeah, getting a good look at these boulders through here. And the crowd all squeezed in. You know, it's absolutely packed in there. There is not much space in this gym for observation live. So thank you to everyone who is joining us on the stream. But, you know, every single spot that could be filmed in there is filled.
Yeah. So now we have on men's number 1, we have Reuben Carlson from Sweden. And on route number women's route number 1, we have Elsa Glitseja. So we already mentioned Elsa. Elsa is from Latvia, 17 years old, and she's going fast.
And interestingly, on both of these climbs, there are holds with absolutely no texture. So the hold that Elsa is about to go to, this black one on the right, is totally textureless with a little thumb catch that has a tiny bit of texture. And you wouldn't know by how strong she's looking. And on the right, Reuben's looking super strong in this position too. He needs to straighten that left arm. Yeah, that left arm needs to straighten so he can bring the right arm in. But on the left, the women storming through this first boulder.
So strong. Yeah, I think when I chatted to Elsa before, she was a bit surprised that she made it to the finals, but she was so happy. I think she's just enjoying her time here today. And Reuben from Sweden, yes. So I was so happy to see people not only from Baltics but from everywhere around the region coming here. And Reuben here, he's from Stockholm. He's a route setter at BLX Climbing.
Yeah, he's actually the head setter, and he said he's come here after doing a whole week of setting with minimal skin to begin with. You know, he was really hoping that he made the final here, trying hard not to expect it, but he said he prefers hard boulders than easy ones. You know, he wants to have a good fight out here, and I do think the route setters have delivered that for both of the categories today, although the women aren't seeming to struggle just yet.
Yeah, well, women, they had the semifinals, like you mentioned, this morning, so maybe the route setters were a little bit kinder today, but we'll see with the next boulders. But yeah, the men's semi-final lineup was quite tough as well, so I don't think everyone expected to be in the finals anyway. So everyone who did make it, I think they were pretty happy.
Reuben's looking around, and you can see what I love with watching climbers is when you look where they're looking, so where their eyes are going, what their head's moving around doing. If it's moving around a lot, it often suggests they don't know what to do. So you saw there, Reuben in that position is an incredibly strenuous position to hold, but he was looking left, looking right, looking up, looking down, and what he's doing is trying to figure out the beater on the wall. So he's pulling on, he's getting to that position, and he doesn't know what to do there. And that just shows how hard and tricky it is to figure out what to do, let alone then execute it. So hopefully he can make a decision on the ground and not be tucked up in that strenuous position this time. But yeah, it's definitely going to be taking a lot out of him holding that position alone.
To me, it looks like so far everyone's been quite, they know exactly what they're doing. For example, Reuben here, he's taking his time before jumping back on the wall. I guess it's his third or something like that.
Yeah, he's had a number of attempts, and I guess what you mean there is the fact that he's quite calm and collected in the competition environment. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
in terms of a comp experience.
Yeah, that's what I meant, and also just taking time before rushing back.
It's always scary to know how long to leave it. You know, he left 30 seconds on the clock and then had a foot slip, and oh yeah, makes me a little nervous. But this is likely to be his last go.
Come on, Reuben.
He needs to really push his body weight over to the left if he wants to be able to bring that right hand in. And you see he's not quite getting the left arm straight, so he wants to bring his body weight underneath that zone to make it feel a little bit more positive, and he just unfortunately wasn't able to do that. So I hope he can kind of recollect himself. It's what you've got to do, you know, that boulder's gone forever now. They might never get to try that again, and definitely not in this competition.
How do you switch like that from one boulder, and especially if you haven't made to the top, and how do you change? Or
yeah, it's a
mind?
very tricky thing to do, especially if you've been close, and especially if you know that other athletes have done it, or that it could really count towards making podium or medal. But the one thing I say to younger athletes, but all climbers who want to compete, is the one thing you cannot train is experience. You can't train being in this environment, performing under pressure. So the more you can gain experience of being in this situation, the better, and then you can figure out what works for you to make that switch.
And they are here for the experience. And now on women's number one, we have Alexandra from Finland, representing Finland, and she's also called Sasha. So Sasha and Henrik Blomqvist from Estonia. He was surprised to be in finals and so happy about it.
Quick work on the women's again. A little bit of hesitation to start with, but it didn't slow down too much. Oh, commentators curse. Oh, so unfortunate to see her slip there. I think she'll recompose herself and we'll be looking for a top there. And on the right, Henrik struggling getting into that zone, but like you said, he was so excited to be in this round, and I think he'll make a big adjustment on his next attempt and pull higher into his shoulders to get established, and then we'll hopefully see him shift that body weight across.
And Alexandra, Sasha, she has been coming here to Estonia regularly to join the competitions, and she's always in the finals, so we are super happy to see her back here for the championships as well.
Interestingly, all the women are doing a different beater, a different sequence through that middle section to what the route setters expected. So yeah, I'm curious to know if the route setters are surprised by how strong the women are, or if they just didn't expect the women to try a different sequence to what they intended.
Quick top from Sasha as well. This was her second go.
Yeah, Henrik's yet to establish himself on the zone. He's not been awarded that. So to be awarded the zone hold, you have to hold it and use it. You can't just put your hand on the zone hold. So we've seen him touch the zone hold, but the reason he's not been awarded it is because he didn't either pull up on it or shift his body weight or he didn't make use of it. So he hit it as he was falling off. So that's why the zone hasn't been awarded yet.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the judges. I wouldn't want to be a judge. It's so much stress.
So much stress. Try being a climber.
I don't know. I haven't tried being a judge, but I don't know.
I feel like, honestly, I think the judges have a hard job, but I think the route setters have the hardest job of all. I don't think they get enough credit, so absolute hats off to the route setters. The team have worked tirelessly here, like often working into the late hours in the morning just to make sure these boulders are the best show that they can be, but so that the climbers can show their best selves. And speaking of the route setting, this first hold on the men's is a no text hold for the left hand with a jug hidden behind it. So it's so mean. It's like showing them what they could have had, and Henrik so close there to stick in the zone, but as you saw, he was falling as he hit it, so again he hasn't been awarded that. And I think he knows that he's capable of at least getting those points on the board, so let's see if in these last 40 seconds he can compose himself and have the best go yet on this boulder.
Yeah, and since you mentioned route setters, I do agree. I've tried route setting, and wow. And here we had 6 route setters. If you feel, Shauna, like there's something to comment, just pinch me and start talking. So our head route setter for this event was Mauro Schwaszta. He's from Austria. His parents are from Argentina, so he has a huge international experience as an IFSC route setter. In addition to Mauro, we wanted to have a really international route setters team, and we definitely wanted to have all the Baltic states included. So starting from Estonia, we have Roland Samfir, who is actually from Romania. And from Estonia, there's Tõnis Taul. From Latvia, Edis Polis. And from Lithuania, Mikhail Kochetkov. And then we also have from Slovenia/UK/Italy, Jack Busato, who is just has become a fan of Estonia.
You can add /Estonia onto there too.
Could add that.
Our next rotation, 2 more athletes out on the mats for their first boulder now.
Yeah, so we have again a young gun on the female route number 1, Julia Silina. And on the men's route, we have Joris Leipus from Lithuania.
Both making really good progress here. Both into the zone hold on their first attempt and looking strong. But yeah, Joris there, he went for an interesting approach, and I think he'll change that on his next attempt. But Julia on her first try, looking smooth and casual throughout that whole climb. And we spoke with both of these athletes ahead of the round, and they were so excited to be in finals and to get to perform on this stage. So yeah, it's cool to see Julia keep her composure there, and we'll see if Joris can do the same, because he tried to go left foot out to the blue foothold that you can see, and I am quite confident that won't work, so he will need to be using his right foot to push his weight across. Yeah, he's stopped, he's pausing, and he's definitely contemplating. You know, you can see he's still looking up at the wall, he's focusing, his head's moving around, so kind of suggests he's not super confident in what his approach will be on his next attempt, but he looked so solid getting that zone, didn't he?
And this left foot would work if the handhold was 90 degrees, right? Like the opposite way, kind of, but it's not working because it's the other way. Okay, now
now he's trying what the intended method is. So you saw him sink right down, his left arm was totally straight, and he was trying to push off the blue foot on the right. He's now hands on hips, a very good suggestion that he's contemplating. He's given us all the signals to say he doesn't quite know what's going on, but he made such great progress between those last two attempts, and he's clearly a very wise climber, you know, taking the time to really assess what the options might be so he can be best informed for every single attempt that he makes.
Do you know any other sport that is like this, where you kind of math is going, or like puzzle is going in your head all the time?
Yeah, it's very rare that we get to see that in play on the sporting stage. And you know, I believe climbing's the only sport at the Olympics where athletes compete on a course that they don't get to practice. Other than speed climbing, of course. I know speed climbers get to practice, having had to dabble in speed climbing myself for the Olympic Games. But yeah, with bouldering and lead climbing, there's no other Olympic sport now where athletes compete on something that they don't get to practice on. There's always a practice round.
And so how do athletes...
Yeah, Joris looking much stronger here, and he's going to opt to go trying a left foot out. He was trying to get his left foot onto a tiny little jib or a screw-on that higher black hold there. Again, really impressive to be so creative. I'm quite confident it won't work, but hats off for being creative. Sorry, Christine, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. We're just all eyes on the action.
Yeah. You were saying that the athletes are not able to practice what they're going to compete in. So what it really means is that they need to try out all kinds of moves, and the more moves you've tried out and practiced, and the bigger your library, the faster you will learn at the competition, right?
Yeah, I mean, experience is for sure one thing, but we are starting to see younger and younger athletes have great success on the circuits. So I think there's a definite case that, you know, the more moves you do and the more experience you have, the better you can perform at competitions. But I do think as well it's so much about being composed and also about being able to deal with the pressure and thinking about those ideas, because you could be the most experienced athlete on the mats, but if you can't perform in those minutes that you have out there, you know, 4 minutes, it really isn't a very long time. And I think from the luxurious position of watching this event on a screen, it's sometimes hard to imagine why the climbs are so hard, why they're not being done. But the pressure that these athletes are under, and then the fatigue that's accumulated throughout the event, it plays a major factor.
And now we are seeing several athletes at the same time.
Yeah, now it gets tricky for us, right?
So this is also a new IFSC finals format, right? We used to have attention on one climber only, and now we have to have...
We have 4 climbers on the wall at the same time, and we're seeing the women now, and we get our first look at the women's second boulder. Now this one is a very, very cheeky sneaky climb, because this foothold that we're seeing here, the texture is only on the very front part of it, and yeah, we're seeing Santa move through this with such ease, and honestly this boulder looks so horrendously tricky to me.
So yes, Santa, we missed her women's 1, so we see her on women's number 2. And Santa as well has been coming to Estonia for years to compete, and it's really good to see her here.
Yeah, she just needed to go a little bit quicker on that move, and I think we'll see her make that adjustment on her next goes. But right now we get a look at men's 2 as well, and this one is the one that the route setters are most nervous about. Men's 2, but men's 1, all eyes on the right of your screen, because we're getting our first look at the final few moves on men's 1.
Yes, so that's Oiva Laakso from Finland. Do we see a top?
Super high heel. He's so strong through his upper body in this section, but really keeping that tension through his feet. There is a small foothold, but he's managed to his heel nice and high. And was that a flash? I think that might have been incredibly quick. Anyway, it was in not many attempts at all. And What a show that was.
Wow, let's check the results right away.
And we're seeing Santa on the last move of women's 2. That was so close, and just for context, that last hold has absolutely no texture on whatsoever. And a little surprise on women's 1 as we're seeing a few falls. But back to men's 2, and we get a look at this really tricky coordination move around this corner. And we saw Alexander there trying to go quite slowly. The move on men's 2 is designed to go really quite quickly, so yeah, hopefully he's able to figure that out and change it up. So much action on the screen.
Yeah, we didn't mention who is on women's number 1, and that's Ula Koroljova from Lithuania. Ula is giving a few attempts there on women's number 1. And meanwhile, Santa is on women's number 2. She dropped from the top before. Let's see if she can make it work now.
She's a really smart climber, Santa, as we've seen on those first few moves. You know, she's fallen, she's got back on, corrected her mistakes from previous attempts. Can we see her do that on this last move now? She's got to put all her trust in that left foot. The route setters talked about how important it was to trust that foot there. And speaking of trusting your foot, can we see that on men's 2? Are we going to see a top? 1 hand, 2 hands? There it is.
Super good work from Sasha Alexander Shorikov from Estonia. And Ula is there on route number 1. And Santa is going again on route number 2. Can we see? Ula is on route number 2. And I heard that there was a top. Meanwhile.
Yeah, there's lots going on. We're seeing Santa as she approaches the last move. The clock is ticking down. You could hear those beeps. I'm not sure she even had time to top that, but what is so hard is walking back into that isolation. You can see she's looking back. Her eyes are on that last hold. She had 1 hand on it. 1 hand on 25 points, but she will not be awarded more than the zone. And, you know, it is a brutal format because you don't get awarded anything for those extra moves after the zone unless you get both hands on that top hold in control. So, yeah, that one's going to sting, but she'll need to let it go and refocus. There's still 2 more boulders to go for her.
It is very brutal. I've heard that there's some kids boulder competitions where every move award gives you a point. So
yeah, I've seen that format in a few different events, and yeah, I'm a little torn. I don't know. Maybe it's better, but
maybe,
maybe for adults too.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to be awarded every time I go climbing for every hold I get these days.
I'll give you a star.
Thank you. A gold one.
Maybe silver. All right, on women's number 1 now, we have Alla Marenic. She's representing Latvia, but originally she's from Ukraine, and she used to compete in the IFSC circuit as a speed climber.
Yeah, and she's also competed in bouldering comps too, and she's looking really strong here, but she needs to get that top hold in control. 1 hand, 2 hands, and she's hooking there on a hold with absolutely no texture. If you've ever felt no texture holds, then yeah.
And I didn't notice this before, but both Alla and her husband, Roland Rugens, were on the boulders, first boulders at the same time.
Yeah,
how much fun!
They'll climb together throughout the whole round, which is it's really quite cute, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cute. So on men's number 1, there's Roland Rugens, who is over here in the Baltics. He's a superstar for us. And on route number 2, we have Elsa.
Really struggling with that first move and just showing how smooth Santa was as she moved through it with relative ease, it looked like, across that first spot of the slab. And we get a good look now at men's 2.
I love that on women's number 1 we had Alla, who is 37, and women's number 2 we had Elsa, who is 17, 20 years age gap. So cool.
That's really cool. So again, I don't think you'll see that in many sports, that's for sure. And right now on the screen, Reuben, he's really pressing up into that teeny tiny, like really little hold. It's barely enough for a thumb, let alone anything else. And this is the dynamic move. So the intention is to go very fast to the black, land the foot and the next hand, but he tried to go one hand and it didn't quite work. There's absolutely no texture on that black hold. This round is full of no texture holds.
And you mentioned that the root setters were nervous about the men's number 2. Why was that?
Just because it's quite a risky move to put into a competition with there being no texture on the hold you're jumping to, and I think it's quite a tricky move to stick. But Elsa here, she just had a little bubble with the feet. She steps up and manages to just save that barn door. You can see her feet keep popping. She looks a little nervous to me here, but she's managing to keep it under control somewhat and then just losing it. I think if she's able to get back up there, she does have time on the clock, then hopefully we'll see her be much more composed on her next attempt.
And these dual text holds or no text holds, what do you think about them? They're kind of new as well.
Yeah, put it this way, I'm glad they didn't exist when I was doing World Cups. I think there's a lot of tactics involved with no texture holds, and yeah, I think you've definitely got to learn them. Maybe a bit of a surprise with Roland not breezing his way through the first boulder. I think the expectation was that he would kind of be up there with the strongest of the bunch in this round. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see him getting a lot of competition at this comp.
Yeah, Roland is so psyched always to come and compete. And he told me that he has had 2 climbing sessions in 6 months, and this competition is his second.
Okay, so maybe not coming into this with much expectation. And yeah, he's had some really impressive comebacks from some major injuries. Chatting to him earlier, I hadn't realised he broke his spine in 2017 and then he broke his leg in 2018, having to take almost a year out for both of those. So yeah, to see him back in a championships, in a finals is impressive, let alone to be competitive as well.
It's really cool. He's running a gym in Riga, Falkor's gym, and he has 2 kids, and so he has a lot going on. But his nephew Edvards Krutsitis, who also did the Olympic circuit last time for Paris, I think he has inspired Roland to start
training
again. Yeah. And the next round started. So we have, on number 2 we have Hendrik from Estonia.
Yeah, he's just getting established. So for those of you who don't know, the climbers need to put their hands and their feet on these orange tapes, so that's where the starting position is. So there's no stipulation of whether it's a hand or a foot, it's just 4 pieces of tape, and that's where the hands and the feet have to go in a controlled position to start. And then you can see Henrik now, he's going really fast straight away into that second move, and it's the right idea, but it actually looked a little easier to go slightly more static. And we get a look now at women's 1. We've got Leah on women's 1 looking very calm and collected, moving through this first section here, and on men's 1, Petrath, he's looking super strong, but again trying to do a beta that wasn't intended, but he's looking like he might be able to make it work, and a little foot pop there. I hope we'll see him try the intended method, because I think he's strong enough to do it. But over to women's 2, so much action here.
Sasha is smiling. Alexandra Mizukevich, she's enjoying the struggle.
Yeah, she seems really psyched just to be here, and she's almost like surprised at sticking that move. You know, she's doing it in a really authentic fashion. You know, you can see every time she hits a move that she's surprised, and I hope she can keep that composure as she moves through into this last no text hold. One hand doesn't get the match, her body didn't stop moving at all then, so she's going to really need to adjust her hip position for that next attempt. So much going on right now. We're just taking it all in as the climbers are hopping and popping and jumping around, and a little surprising We're seeing a bit of struggle on women's one here, but she's so close to the top hold. One hand, looking like she's going to get the match, trying to find a foot for the right foot. That's the second hand, and that'll be a top for her.
And I am so excited about this. Lea Kerski, she is representing Estonia, and today in the semifinals, I was in the isolation and I realized there's a strong Estonian girl. Who is she? Where is she from? We had never seen her before. And I chatted with her later, and she lives in Belgium. And she, I asked her, have you been to any competitions in Estonia before? And she was like, yeah, when I was 9.
Oh wow! So it's been a while. She's making her big comeback, and what a way to do it. She's looking great out there. It was good to see her kind of find her flow. I think she did look a little nervous on those earlier attempts, but you know, you've not been in this environment before. It's a big stage.
She was super strong coming into the finals on second spot, so that's really cool.
Right now we get to welcome one of our route setters into the booth. Christina will pop out and let Jack come join me. Jack, please come in. Welcome.
Welcome. I'm a bit nervous.
You're a bit nervous about the comp or about chatting to me?
About chatting to you.
I'm not scary.
Comp is alright. I know you.
Look at this, Jack. It's such a good show, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you happy?
Yeah. We made some close calls. Yes, some last minute changes that we're not 100% happy with, but still working. So.
Can I ask if you're surprised by the amount of tops on the women's first boulder, because that seems like something you maybe weren't quite expecting?
Yeah, that was the one that I was talking about.
A lot of different ways to approach that boulder as well. You know, they're all doing their own unique hand sequence through that middle section.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice. You know, the top seems to be testing a few of them and piling the nerves on, and I think that'll only add pressure as we move through the round as well, right?
Yeah, we still had some drops. We were a bit unsure. We discussed quite a bit on that, and then we decided to make some tweaks. But I think we did too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes happens, but we still had one go left not topping, and still drops in different places. So.
Nice. And talk to me about what we're seeing here on the men's boulder. You know, we've only seen one top so far on this. It's super powerful, this first men's boulder. Fadir, he is absolutely storming this event, and he's looking like he's on a whole other level. And on the left, we've got Elsa just cruising right now.
Yeah. I mean, we were expecting Elsa to do well.
Yeah.
Even on the original version, to be fair. And Fadir, one top, that was really good, but we knew the middle section, especially with the high foot, when you get in the shoulder and you need to get the high foot, that would have suited him fairly well. He's so mobile.
Yeah.
We were quite expecting him to do it.
Yeah.
And the rest is quite physical still, but he's so flexible and he moves so intuitive.
He just looks on a different level to a lot of these guys, but we also know coming into a new round that anything can happen, and someone can look so dominant in semis and then not bring that through into the finals. And on the wall right now, we're seeing Joris pull on here, and he's someone who maybe you wouldn't have expected to look as strong as he did on the first one, but coming into this, we've seen one top of this boulder so far, and it looks so mean. There's absolutely no texture on the black hold or the zone hold, right?
No. The transparent hold is completely no textured. The one on the volume also has zero texture at all. It was a bit of a shame Sharikov managed to reach it. Yeah. Which we thought.
So we didn't see that on the screen. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, he had to, he managed to pull on, and that position for him was really hard. Okay. Like fitting into the space. Yeah. But then at some point he managed to do something I didn't see because he was in the middle. Yeah. And then he managed to extend, so bump
all the
Till
way to the blackboard.
yeah.
And then sometimes we call that cheating a boulder, but I feel like cheating's not the right word because they're absolutely allowed to figure out their own unique method, and it's almost like breaking the beta, so the intended sequence. And I actually quite love that when athletes figure that out, but as a route setter it can be a little bit irritating maybe.
Depends. I think there are
Speaking of just talking about what's going on screen here, Yulia just looking so casual through that first section. Again, speaking of doing beta that wasn't expected, you thought that first section would be quite dynamic, right?
Some of them read it quite dynamic. Others tried the slow method and it worked for them. We knew that was possible. That's
Again, trying to think about something new. What we have seen in this event is a lot of athletes really standing back, thinking about different methods, and we're seeing athletes kind of approach with really mature attitudes, I feel like, and it's cool to see. It feels like the boulders here are testing the athletes so much so that they're having to really contemplate different sequences, and we now see him coming back to the original method, but not coming all the way through. And this last move, is it over here, or does he need to stay composed?
He needs to just press on the foot. You see, as soon as the foot goes, this hand doesn't push it anymore.
Heartbreak as the clock ticks down and that rotation is over. Oh, that's gonna sting. He had 25 points in his hand.
It was really close, huh? Yeah, it was really close.
He could almost have not been much closer, but you'll have to take a deep breath, refocus, and let that one go. Still 2 more boulders to go.
Yeah, I was thinking about the beta breaks or like different solutions. I'm not that fussed about that. Obviously, if you skip up of the boulder.
Yeah,
like
that might be a
US. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like you did in US. Obviously, that is a major
You remember
disappointment.
that I did that in US? Oh my gosh, that was a while back.
Yeah.
I feel like not many people know I was even a comp climber, let alone remember beta breaks that I did.
That was really cool, though. That was thinking out of the box. Yeah, that sort of thing. Okay, that is you didn't see that happening, but there is a certain amount of room that we leave for the athletes to interpret or find different solutions. Especially the field, like you see, Sharikov is so tall, and even for him, the beta that he found was still quite stretched. And sometimes it's just the personal way of doing stuff. Like we were talking about, Fedir and the way he can find solutions and work only for him because of his special abilities. I think it's cool to leave that room for athletes because it adds personality to the boulders.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I actually really love the fact that bouldering comps allow athletes to express themselves and their best styles. And I think, here we're seeing Ula try and approach this in quite a static method. We've seen Alexander have a few attempts and then really work out what works best for him, ultimately sticking that first move, which looks really almost torturous to kind of be as precise as they need to be with those feet and that footwork. And he's still got a couple of moves to go before he even gets the zone.
Yeah.
Coming up though, he's almost there. He's got one hand on it. A little weight shift should see him be awarded that. Ooh. Not sure if that'll count.
Interesting. Even for him, the foot swap, he's foot swap a couple of times to find the right body position to extend the right leg and get to the foothold. And even then, he didn't look that comfortable. Like, oh, he managed to stop it.
Are you surprised by the athletes stopping on that black hole?
No, really. We played a bit safe with that because the original version was really low percentage. And
speaking with the headset, that was like the one you were most nervous for. But what a top there!
That was quite confident, huh?
Yeah, he looked so. Yeah, like you said, confident going towards that last hole. There was absolutely no doubt in his mind. He was going with 2 hands and he was going to stick it.
Right hand went immediately on top of the left. No questions asked. Let's see, Ali. Okay. It looks good. Ooh.
A little foot ping there. Can you tell me how bad those footholds are?
Actually, that was cool. That move, the foothold itself is pretty good, but we blocked it.
And we just got a quick look there at women's 3. We appreciate the screen is jumping around a little bit, but we're trying to get as much of the action on the screen as possible so you can get the best show. We have started women's 3 and men's 3. The new format for finals does mean there's a lot going on out there, but it means it's just more for us to enjoy.
She wants to go a little higher with the left foot, but the no-tax pushes her back. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so the foothold she's standing on, it's got only texture on the very outer part of the hold, right? And that's what makes that move so tricky. She is trying to opt for a more static method through these moves, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, she's got a bit of reach, especially compared to some of the other competitors. But still, that move, if you don't shift your weight correctly, you can pop out.
Yeah, as we saw just there. And you know, speaking of needing to shift your weight correctly, this men's boulder is exactly that. But what you can't do is let those feet pop around. And getting a look of women's number 3 there, and it's just so powerful through that first section, isn't it?
Yeah, there's also quite a bit to learn through the boulder. I think we pushed a bit of complexity with that. Nice to see that she managed to get the first part of the move that is still not hard but quite complex. Let's see if Alexander but then there's quite a lot to do to get to the zone.
Yeah, so unfortunately I don't believe Santa was able to get the zone there. Ula was, Alexander was. So yeah, that was an interesting rotation, and I think things are starting to ramp up a little bit throughout the round, hey?
Yeah.
With a lot more excitement to come.
Yeah, I think we were a bit worried at the very beginning, but no, I think the choices we made are kind of showing their cards, I think.
Yeah, and the women's second boulder is really starting to separate all of the female athletes out, so maybe giving you a little breath. And you know, when I spoke with the head setter, we discussed how many tops were expected, and you know, the men's first boulder, you weren't expecting many tops on that anyway, so it feels like things are coming into a line a little bit more than they were after the first.
Yeah, when we were discussing, we were like, oh, we're gonna have like 3 tops, and I was like, well, we're gonna have 2 then. And Mauro was like, yeah, probably true. We always, every time we say we expect a certain amount of tops, then we need to shave off a couple.
Ooh, Roland's here. And speaking of taller athletes, you know, he made that look really close, didn't he? So it's very interesting how strong he was on that right hand to stand up so high, and he has totally broken the beater through that section there, but that entirely counts. However, he does need to get 2 hands on that last hold, and if he wants to be competitive in this event, he needed that, didn't he? After not topping the first one, he looked totally casual there. And getting a look at the higher moves on women's 3 now.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got Elsa, and she's standing up tall here.
Come on. That looks good.
She's looking casual here. She looks calm. Oh, commentator's curse again. She looked so calm and composed, but the right hand she had, is that not a very good hold?
He's not terrible, but in that
means it's pretty bad. If it's not terrible, that means pretty bad.
It's really not terrible. I think what plays into that is the body position. As soon as you start to stand up, that foot is not good anymore.
Okay.
Even if it's really big, you really need to push a lot and find your position, and then matching or stopping on the volume first.
So much strength required just to hold the position.
Yeah. Interesting that she chose so the way we did it was going right hand and then crossing, and I see she chooses the filthy hand spot.
Yeah, I think many of them might, because speaking with a lot of the athletes, Alla, who we're seeing on women's 2 here included, they said their favourite style was cribs. Some of them did say the more dynamic jumps, but Alla, hand on hip here, is not looking impressed, and I feel like that daggers was straight at you guys, straight at the root setters there. She said she wasn't the biggest fan of jumping around, but yeah, it's really cool to know she's competed in Speed World Cups and Boulder World Cup.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
She's 37, you know, there's a 20-year age gap for the women in this category. So yeah, to be putting on such a good show out there is really cool.
She looked very strong throughout the whole competition.
She looked incredibly strong in semi-finals, and on that first boulder she looked like she was breezing through. And we get another look at Elsa here, and we haven't actually talked about Reuben on men's 2 either, which we will do shortly. But Yeah, Elsa, she's going to need to stand up and keep that pressure through the foot, is what I was about to say, just as it pinged. And looking at Reuben now as he reaches over towards that zone. He's not yet been awarded it, so he's not actually got any purchase on that hold. He's not used it.
Struggling
even
to
though
push
it's
off
so
that
close.
shoulder, huh?
Push off the shoulder, or is it coming from not trusting the feet?
Probably.
Usually. Nearly always comes down to trusting your feet, right?
Yeah. Ooh. Let's see.
Ella's just stuck that first move, but can she stick the next move? Will she get these points on the board? She needs to really commit to that.
Nice.
Oh, that was such a good save.
For someone that doesn't like dynamic moves, huh? That went pretty good.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
think she might not like them, but she's sure good at them.
Come on.
Can we see our first top? We need 2 hands in control on this last hold, and there's no texture up there on that black hold, is there?
Not at all. Oh,
You're so mean, you root setters.
yeah.
It's not over till it's over on that one.
Never.
Oh,
I mean,
and Reuben's got the zone. We're gonna get a look at these last couple of moves. Oh, we're not. Just a little wobble there on a slab like that. Is that a slab or is it vertical?
no, that's slap. That is slap.
And on a slab like that, as soon as anything leans back, their shoulders, their butt, their arm, they're coming off, right?
Especially in that section, you really need to shift the weight over that back foot over there, and the next foot move is even harder. I think we spent quite a lot of time on that.
Just, you spent a lot of time on the foot, the 1 foot move. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Mainly we played with the position of that a few times, just to find the right balance, knowing that the field is made of very tall competitors, and also the wall is not super tall.
It's not at all, no.
It's just shy.
You wouldn't know from watching these boulders though, because they feel like they've got so much to them. There's so much action going on. But yeah, the wall isn't very high.
But competition routine requires something happening all the time.
We're definitely getting that
within
today.
the boulders, yeah. Apart from this guy over here. Yeah, maybe we should have left that thumb originally was without the lifter. There's a slightly bigger hold under the thumb that we decided to add
To make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, to make it a little bit easier. Maybe the original version would have been hard enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
And here we're seeing one of our taller climbers.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be able to break the beater? It looks like he's going to try, but a foot slip there, and he didn't look super comfortable in that position there, did he?
Yeah, especially like Roland made that position look very comfortable, but that foot is really weird.
And Roland is shorter than Petrus, so yeah, it's interesting that
Roland is really good on his feet.
he is, and yeah, he looked very comfortable in that
Yeah.
position. But definitely, I think what's so fascinating is to hear you talk about the tweaks and the testing and how much time you spend perfecting and going over the nuance of each individual move, because I think it's really easy to sit here and watch these climbs and comment on whether they're good or whether they're too easy or too hard or mean or not mean, but the passion that you guys show, and you know, I've had the luxurious position of witnessing that firsthand, so absolutely hats off to you guys. I honestly don't know how route setters do it. You deserve way more than you get in terms of support and acknowledgement, so I'm just going to keep shouting about route setters because that's what we get to see. You guys literally make the show.
I think we.
Or you make the show possible, I should say. There we
Yeah,
go.
I think we serve a platform. You athletes fill the space with your bodies, and I think it's a cooperation between us two. No, we put some ideas on the wall, and you give life to them. Sometimes we do a good job.
That's a beautiful statement. We
Yeah.
put ideas on the wall and you give life to this.
That's true, though.
I like it. No, I love it. Yeah, and we get to witness athletes giving them best selves. And what I think is so cool about climbing is the opportunity for athletes to express themselves and express their own personal styles. And we're seeing the athletes on the wall right here doing just that. You know, we've got athletes who prefer dynamic styles or crimpy styles, and you don't get to choose that in a competition, right? You have to walk out and be ready for anything. And are you thinking about the fact that you need to allow athletes to showcase a variety of skills? Are you trying to put as much variation on the wall as you can?
Yeah, that's for sure something that we try really hard. Sometimes we miss that target. not always by intention, but a lot of times we just have limitations. But we try to test them in multiple skills, right? Through qualies and through semis and through finals. Like we try to have difference within the rounds and inside the round as well.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you there. That was
good.
incredibly
That was really
impressive. That was such a dynamic move. The tension required to stick that and keep composed. But can he see it through to this last hold? And you can see he's looking around.
Yeah.
He doesn't look super happy here, does he?
The foot is bad. The foot is bad. We put something under it, but he's
Hopefully
bad.
not too bad.
Oh, what a save! Come
I
on!
didn't want to say anything until that second hand went up, but that is my favourite moment of the show
Oh, you
so
knew
far.
that.
Petras, good effort, and the clock is ticking down, and we get to see a really close
come on,
top
come on.
on women's number 2. I don't want to say anything. The clock has ticked down, and she won't get to attempt that final move. It took her so long to get through, but what an exciting end to that rotation. It kind of all came out of nowhere. I'm sorry I totally interrupted you, but
No, that's
all action was on the screen. And while we do have a little lull, I want to ask you, what is your favourite thing about setting? Or why do you do it? What's your why? It's a big question. Sorry, I put you on the spot. I didn't
That's
give you
alright.
any preparation for that at
I
all.
think it makes me feel like when I was a kid playing with Legos. That on a practical and the teamwork.
Yeah,
I feel part of something,
yeah.
and that is unvaluable.
That's beautiful, and I can really see that in the team that you have here. And a shout out to the whole setting team and to your head setter, who seems to be doing an incredible job.
Mauro is a G.
Yeah, he's such a great guy, and he's really made it seem like you're one unit. I was watching you tweak some boulders, and it was like watching a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Everything was just happening all at the same time, and I actually didn't know how anyone knew which screw they were putting in or taking out. And having had experience setting, it's cool to see a team look really solid, and you can see that in the boulders too by how great this show is.
Yeah, it's doing great. And I mean, we spent a lot of time together in the last few days. We had a lot of boulders to set, and we really tried to work efficiently, but to put enough time into each round to really get the best out of it.
Yeah.
We had some limitation in terms of material, like not all the holds have arrived yet. She's close.
Yeah, this is Elsa. We are seeing her absolutely cruise through this first section, but can she keep it going for this last move? I almost want to hold my breath. One hand, two hands. Look at that tension through her left foot. That was absolutely amazing. Hats off to her.
She gave that uppercut to the top.
Yeah, she really smacked that top hole. She was wanting that top for sure, and a really close attempt for Joris as well. And for Deer, one hand, two hands. Not much surprise there.
Easy. And he's looking good. He's just gone down. I was like, what was that?
He has to be one of the most sarcastic guys I've ever met. Interviewing him before the event, I was like, I had no idea if he was being serious for most of it. And I'm British. We do sarcasm, but yeah, he took it to a whole new level. And what I loved was him and Roland's playing off each other. And I feel like that'll be going on in ISO a little bit too. So, Fadir topping the first one, Roland's not. Roland topping the next one. I feel like that would have piled the pressure on for this round, for this boulder for Fadir. And it's cool to see him stay totally composed.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable and quite confident. I think he was really relaxed.
He's a route setter as well, right? So he's pretty experienced. He loves setting the coordination style kind of compy moves that I've heard. So I feel like on that last boulder he would have been very happy. And we're seeing a good look of Yulia here on boulder 3, just getting ready to pull on, and Joris as he moves through boulder 3 in the men's, and that press looks gnarly.
Yeah. He made it work though, and he
did,
not looking. Oh, okay. Now he's going for the.
I think he might have been trying something slightly different, having already established the zone. We do see climbers try and change things up a little bit, and Joris has really been doing that throughout the round. Trying to figure out different Peter and Julia. She's looking kind of tired there. So the women's semi-final round was this morning. How were those boulders? Do you think they'll be carrying some fatigue into this round?
Definitely. They had quite some fights on a couple of the boulders, especially on the steep. Some of them walked it. Others had to try a bit harder. We definitely didn't went easy on them.
Yeah.
We tried to be fair.
Do you ever go easy? It'd be a boring show if it was easy, right?
Yeah, some unintentionally sometimes. We underestimate things.
Yeah.
Both on both sides, you know, unintentionally at times, or sometimes we just make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not.
You're only human after all.
It's not in a perfect science, is it?
It's far from a perfect science. It's an artistry, that's for sure.
All right. I think Christina is back. We can give her a spot again.
You're getting bored of me.
No, not at all. But she will let us know when she wants to come back in. I really hope to see her top on the red one.
I feel confident that we're going to see a top. You know, we've got a few athletes to go, and I feel like there's going to be some good fights, and people are really wanting hard boulders. Speaking with most of the athletes in this round, every single athlete I spoke to, I always ask, do you prefer hard boulders where you're fighting for zones and fighting for tops, or do you prefer a flash fest where it's all about who can climb the boulders the fastest? And I really was excited to hear that every single athlete said they want hard boulders, they want to have a good fight. So yeah, that's for me really cool to see, because I enjoy watching athletes being tested to their max ability, physically, mentally, technically. Now we're getting a look at the final boulders, so men's 4 and women's 4, a close attempt on the first move of men's 4 and a successful attempt on the first move of women's 4. Tell me a little bit about women's 4, because I feel like this is the one you all seem most nervous for.
Yeah, I mean, we played a bit back and forth with the first move. The original version was quite tough. Mainly the body position that I envisioned for that first move was really bunched and quite weird. So we had the first foot to balance out a little bit the starting position. I think in itself is not rocket science, but the swing is not an easy swing because of the position we put, the way we oriented the jug.
Yeah.
So yeah, landing requires still a bit of quick decision and finding your way of swinging through the big volume. That is
it scary?
Not really.
Okay.
Actually,
I'll take your word for it.
The distance from the ground looks much bigger than it is.
Okay.
When you're on the jug.
I'll believe you. Not many would. And the men's 4, can you tell me a little bit about that before we let you escape?
Yeah, men's 4 is hard.
Men's 4 looks like it. I know this sounds obvious, but it's not over until it's over. You know, men's 4 looks like if you stick that first move, which looks tremendously difficult to do so, that last move looks spicy.
Yeah, I mean, already the last move, I think, is the perfect example of what coordination looks like these days. How very difficult jump to something that is good enough for you to generate past, and you're not landing on a good hold anymore, you're landing on a crimp now. And that definitely, in my opinion, is the epitome of the evolution of coordination these days, where you don't need just to be able to move your body in a certain way, but you need also to hold something that is not a jug anymore.
Yeah, and to explain that a little bit to people who maybe haven't been part of the evolution of comp climbing or don't know so much, the style has really changed in recent years to kind of the modern style is much more dynamic, a lot more coordination, kind of circus moves as they're called sometimes, but you know, like paddles and kind of wild, fast, bold, brave moves. And kind of with the more old school requiring a lot more strength and body tension and much more basic style, you might say. But what we're seeing now is a combination of that within the same boulder. So what you saw in previous years, you might have a modern style boulder, an old school style boulder, but now they're being kind of reborn into individual boulders that require absolutely everything from an athlete, right?
Absolutely. And the second part of the women's four is similar in a certain way. There's once you manage to land the swing, you still need to get the right position to generate off the crimp and land on a no-touch.
You still have to have fingers of steel to be able to make it to the top. You know,
it's not a bad hold, but you need to pull this classic ball move.
Yeah.
I think I'll give you Christina back and then go and have a look to the last few
Yeah, you
boulders
go and
with the
enjoy
team.
the rest of the show, hang out with the team, give them our best, and please thank them from all of us for the incredible show.
Will do. Thanks for having me. That was my first time.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, you did incredibly well. Thank you very much, Jack.
Charmer. Thank you. See you in a bit.
See you soon. Will we get to see a top of women's three with just a couple of athletes left, 3 athletes to go? We hope we will, and this is really shaping up to be a very close competition. Christina, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good to be back sitting.
How was the atmosphere out there? Can you tell us a little bit what it feels like?
If there was more room, there would be more chairs, because this place is packed and everyone is cheering and everyone is enjoying. But also we have some screens out here where this YouTube live is also shown using a projector. So
Sorry to interrupt you there, Christina, but Roland's just got one hand on that top hold of men's 3. His second hand went up, and that was a flash of men's 3. That was absolutely incredible. Meanwhile, Alla is making great progress on women's 3. Oh, she unfortunately foot slips there, but she does get the zone. Sorry to jump in there, but what a performance from Roland on the slab.
I think he was just warming up.
Yeah, he's just getting into the flow of things, right?
Yeah, the atmosphere is really great, both on the venue and outside where the screens are. Super excited to see everyone here, and I saw that some of our paraclimbers, we are actually working on that as well here in Estonia, developing paraclimbing. So I was really happy to see them here as well, watching the finals live here.
And just to say, paraclimbing has been accepted into the LA 2028 Paralympics, and the sport is growing, and there's been so much progress in the paraclimbing world, so do go and check out those events as well.
Yeah, they are amazing. And actually we sent 4 of our coaches to Arco to learn about paraclimbing and how to teach and how to belay and everything. Since the beginning of this year, there's several coaches now that know how to train as well. But actually we are trying to move in a direction where just regular groups would start not being afraid anymore of just accepting everyone, because sometimes coaches are a bit afraid that they will break climbers, but they won't. They're not gonna break. They're not that fragile.
Alla just struggling to figure out the hand sequence here. We've seen a couple of hand swaps on that zone hold, but the intended method was actually crossing, and we get a really fascinating look here at, wow, women's 4, as we've got Elsa trying to break the beater on women's 4, and they thought that some of the taller climbers might try to palm with their hands, but I'm gonna guess they didn't expect a foot to be going up there, so.
Elsa used to do ballet.
Well, I can believe you.
And only this year she chose her sport now. So she quit ballet and she's fully committed to climbing. She's doing online schooling so that she could train more for climbing.
Wow.
So she is in.
Well, great to see her in this round, and what's interesting here is I wonder if she's got maybe sucked into trying this method, and if we could see her go for the jump without get kind of the press on the foot, maybe she'd be more successful. But she obviously feels confident that she's able to do that, so hopefully we'll see her move through that soon. But Ala, meanwhile, looking very tired on the most powerful boulder of the round. That's women's 3, and we get to see a look of both women's 4 and men's 4. We haven't talked about Reuben on men's 4 actually. He's not quite stuck the first move, and he's having he's rapid firing his goes. He really believes he can stick it. He's trying again and again and again. And what we're seeing is a couple of athletes, they're hitting the red hole but not sticking it. And talking with Jack, the evolution of comp climbing and how this move is a modern style move. It's a coordination jump, a little bit more basic than maybe what we're used to seeing, but they're going to a very small crimp. So now not only do you have to understand how to do coordination, you have to have that movement, have that ability, you also have to have fingers of steel to be able to stick that tiny crimp. So very impressive. If we can see a climber stick it, we haven't seen yet.
But we have quite a few competitors still coming
We
on
do,
the
we sure
M4, so I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. So what do you know what the route setters expect? Do they expect all of the boulders to be topped?
I think they always hope all of the boulders to be topped. I don't think route setters ever put a climb on hoping that it won't get topped. That would be a little bit mean, Christina, come on. But they definitely weren't expecting lots of tops on all of the boulders. So I think after the women's first one, they were a little bit nervous. They maybe undercut them for the women a little bit, and they really want to set boulders that test the athletes and allow them to showcase their best selves and have the competition that allows them to really perform. So I think they've done an incredible job of this, and we've not seen anyone make it through the M4 and women's 4 yet, but I think we will, and we still do have a couple of climbers left on M3 and women's 3, so hopefully we'll get to see a top of women's 3. And great, we've seen a couple of tops on men's 3 on the slab. But there's lots going on. A little hat moment there on the slab. Didn't want that to get in the way.
Some of these moves, I'm just so impressed by how they are able to even tap the holes, like that their bodies are moving the right or the correct direction, let alone sticking the moves. I'm just so impressed by all of them.
Hey, I hear you were doing pretty good on some of the jumps in semis, so I feel like you can understand how they're doing it. But
I don't know how that happens.
It does feel like there's been a level up somewhat on all the boulders here, and the fact that there's such an incredible hold selection, the route setters have really played around with the wall. 'Cause we were talking about how the wall isn't actually that high here. So you see the routes and the climbs kind of weave around a little bit, and I think that allows them to get and pack as much into each and every boulder as they can, and that's unfortunately why there's not such a big crowd here. But we get to see on the back corner she's just took the first move for the first time, and she's starting to swing. Is that Alexandra we've got on there?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
God,
and that was
so
close.
Wow, and she knows it was close.
She does, and also she's got a minute and a half left, so she's rushing straight back to the wall. But I think that was in excitement. It wasn't in nerves of the clock ticking down. She's just unlocked something. I hope we get to see that again for Alexandra there.
For sure. The route setters really set a lot of jumps throughout this competition.
Yeah, they've been in a very jumpy mood, hey?
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate to see Alexandra stick that move and then not be able to repeat it, and that's something that's so frustrating to deal with. And you can see that, she's waving her arms around, and she knows that she can do that move because she's literally just done it, and she really wants to have another go at that next move because she tickled the zone hold, and we see her stick it again. Can she get the zone on this?
Come on, Sasha.
See, her swing is
swing,
not quite in the right trajectory. She wants her hips pointing towards the hold that she's going for. And she's really struggling to find that, unfortunately. And quite similar with Henrik here on the men's floor. He's just not quite finding the swing, unfortunately, as he pulls through that first hold. And oh, you can see the disappointment on her face. She's absolutely gutted not to be able to make that work.
And the swings, there's so many different kinds of swings.
And we didn't mention Leah on women's 3, sorry about that, but she was having a pretty torrid time throughout the start of that boulder, really having to battle with those holds. And, you know, we've only got a couple of athletes left, I think, on this women's 3 and men's 3, so yeah, it's going to be tight if we see a top.
Yeah, Leah did not get a zone here on women's number 3, so let's keep our fingers crossed
Oh,
for
we're
the
on to
fourth.
our last climbers on men's 3. This is really storming through. Got our jury president on camera there.
Yes, so we have Werner Krachter from Austria here as a jury president, and before the competition he was actually doing a thorough workshop for our not just judges, but those judges who have already a wide experience. And
So we've got our jury president, and who's the head judge here?
so we have Veronika Luidalep here.
I feel like they don't get mentioned enough, the jury president and the head judge. You know, they deserve more credit than they get, because they're working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this the show that it is, and to make it the best playing field that it can be. You know, it's totally fair out there. There's been really strict rules around this competition, and I think that, you know, you wanted this to be an event that educates, and it sure has been, hey?
Yes, definitely. So rules are rules, and sometimes at these local regional events, what can happen is that competitors think that, but it's just a local event, so the rule really doesn't mean anything, but it does. And unfortunately, we've had people here being late for the isolation and not being let in, and it's been
heartbreaking, but rules are rules, like you said.
Exactly, and it's better to do these mistakes here than at IFSC.
It is, and a surprising slip for Fedir there. He's looked so dominant throughout the round, and Elska on boulder 3 that I thought she was going to absolutely storm through this, you know, so I'm a little surprised to see her slip off. And we just saw, sorry, I'm getting all my names mixed up now. Elsa on boulder 4, right?
This is Julia.
Okay.
Number 4. You were right.
Perfect.
Elsa
I was right
on
the
3.
first time.
Yes, you were right.
I thought you looked at me confused. I didn't know.
No. Sorry, I was gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, on boulder 4, we had a big smile as she was setting up for that swing on the first attempt, and now you can see that shift in her body language, hands on hips, looking a little bit confused. And the route setters, when I was reading that boulder with them, were saying the swing, finding the right trajectory, is really, really tricky.
Yes, that's what I was saying, that the swings are just so different and can be so complicated. You really need to have great body awareness.
Sure do. And yeah, boulder 3 is just really testing these
hard.
women.
Yeah, Elsa has been coming here to Estonia as well to compete, and she's been really strong for years, and she's been competing for IFSC as well.
And she's not yet picked up the zone on that boulder, which is a surprise for me. I really thought she would. And another surprise, I thought Fedir would absolutely breeze through this, but that his preference is those more coordination style boulders. So maybe.
Yeah, both Elsa and Fedir were just crushing the semifinals. It's really cool to see them here in the finals. But yeah, I was chatting with Elsa before the competition, and she even got to semifinals in one of the IFSC Europe Cups, but then she realized how much work an athlete needs to put in.
Yes,
and now
pretty savage.
She said she's not sure if she wants to do it, but of course she still has the dream, but she needs to think, like, is she ready to put that much time into it?
Looks like she definitely would be seeing a lot of success she did with the way she's performing at this event. And Vadir is also a IFSC route setter, right?
Yes, we have a really great crowd here, throwing IFSC titles everywhere.
Know, right? And IFSC, for those of you who are listening who don't know what we're talking about, we are definitely guilty of using acronyms in the climbing world. It means the International Federation of Sport Climbing, who run all of the official world events for climbing, so the World Cups and the World Championships and the Olympic qualifiers that aren't part of the IOC Olympics. So yeah, it's all serious when it gets to that level, but it kind of is here too, and that's, like you were saying, that's what you wanted. You wanted this to be an event that felt like an official event. It is a championship event, and it's all the same rules, the same kind of expectations of the athletes. So yeah, really cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a championships, as you said, and championships ought to be like that. But the routes are not as hard as in IFSC, so they really knew who are the climbers, who are the athletes. They're still super challenging, but not maybe as tough as in IFSC.
I mean, you say that, but we've just seen that women's 3 Nazi ascend, and that looked incredibly tough. I feel like that belongs on the World Cup circuit for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to try some World Cup routes, then women's number 3, maybe after the event, you can test them out.
And these climbs are going to stay up in the gym for a couple of weeks, right, I heard?
Yeah, I think they had planned even to keep some of the ones from semifinals, so they might put them back in a few weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, usually in the climbing gyms you see a lot of commercial setting, which means that anyone can just go to the gym and climb, whereas these competition style routes, they are maybe a bit more dangerous for if the wall is packed.
Yeah, when there's a lot of people around, you mean?
I mean, if there's like other climbs around it, the route setters are really aware of the fall hazards, etc. So some of the routes are going here, we can see from left to right, and in a commercial setting, there shouldn't be any routes going straight up on top of this route. I don't know if it's clear enough or not, just for the fall hazard.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, on the men's final boulder there, we saw he was trying to stick the first hold and not do that coordination move, and we've just seen the first stick for the second move. Ula looking smooth in that transition. She got the perfect trajectory. What she was doing is trying to land without grabbing the crimp, and that was really smart. But it is not over until it is over this climb. That is a bad hold she's going to. It is a positive hold, but it's textureless, hence why I'm saying it's bad. Speaking of bad holds, that should not be possible. He should not have been able to stick that hold. What an impressive showcase of pinch strength there. Wow.
Oh my god, Oiva Laakso from Finland. From
Oiva, hats off.
Wow. From Boulder Keskus.
This climb though, keep all eyes on Oiva right now, because this last move is totally wild, as you get to see with that corkscrew spin coming off there.
Wow.
Ula looking so smooth, and she actually won at the national championships for the first time this year, and she just said she loves to train, she wants to climb better, and she doesn't have any major goals other than to keep training and keep climbing better. And she made a massive adjustment there, went much further, much more control to that hold. But this climb also isn't over until it's over, until she has two hands on, because this last move is a board style powerful move. She needs to stay controlled, one-handed on that tiny crimp. Will we see two? There it is. What a way to finish the round.
Wow, oh my god, Ula, respect. Very cool.
And now Oiva gets the stage to himself. He's not looking super happy, but I think he should be incredibly proud of himself to have stuck that first move. And it's the first look at the final move of the men's boulder. This one is totally crazy, the style of climbing that they're having to do throughout this entire climb. It's incredible.
Wow, Oiva is looking so strong. I don't know how he does it.
but he's still got the hardest move of the boulder left to go. 1, 2. So this is designed as you go around the corner with one hand, and the next hand follows, and then you get to the final hold. And the final hold is a positive hold, but only if you're on the left-hand side of it. So as soon as you're spinning too far and you go too hard, then it won't work out. But there was a little smile there. He looks pretty tired. I think that was a last-ditch effort to use up his time and not walk away without knowing he'd given absolutely everything. And unfortunately, we don't get to see a send, but really cool to see him get the zone on that for sure. And finishing the round with 2 tops and 2 zones, that's pretty impressive.
That is really cool. And Ula, who finished on women's 4, she left with 2 tops and 1 zone. So very strong.
And as it stands right now, she's sitting in first place, is that right? So
that is correct as it stands, but there's a few more coming.
There's still 3 more to go.
Yep. Could be on the podium, but 3 strong girls still coming.
We won't know until the end of the round what our podium looks like in the women's.
Yep. And
or the men's.
Yeah, true. Oiva as well, provisionally on first place, but still strong climbers to come. So we have now on men's number 4, we have our superhero Roland Trugens. And on women's number 4, we have Alla.
What's so impressive from speaking to Roland earlier is the fact that he's not come back from just 1 major injury, breaking his spine. He's come back from 2 because he broke his leg a year later. And as someone who's come back from many injuries and many surgeries, and I just really respect and admire his resilience to be back on the stage, to be fighting for a medal and really enjoying it as well. And I guess to be doing that alongside your wife is a pretty nice weekend to have in Estonia, right?
Yes, I mean the fact that they came here together is so cool, because they have kids at home, so you really need to think about all of the logistics once you become a parent.
You sure do. And yeah, just a little shout out to all parents who manage it. It's absolutely amazing that these guys are here and performing at this level, and both struggling on the first moves there and maybe not looking like they're having the best time out there right now. But I say that as Alla sticks the first move, and can she find the swing for the second? See, she's swinging in and out from the wall. She really wants to be swinging towards that hole, so I don't think we'll see her quite make it. Her leg was straight when she hit it. To stick this move, you need your hips over your feet when you land, and if she can get super high and land onto it, then we'll see her stick it, but she doesn't look like she's quite found the trajectory. Roland's looked much more positive on that attempt. Maybe his back's weighing up a little bit there as he does a little jiggle for us. I'm not sure he knows he's giving a little jiggle in front of the camera, but yeah, thanks for the entertainment, Roland.
So impressive that Alla used to be a speed climber, which is so different from bouldering or lead climbing, and she's so strong.
Yeah, competing on the speed circuit. We actually competed, both Roland and I, and Alla and I, at the same events. Alla in speed climbing and Roland's also in bouldering. So yeah, we were all at the World Cup in 2018 in Chongqing, China, which was Alla's last speed climbing event. And she's also competed in bouldering World Cups too. So, no stranger to a stage like this.
Yeah, and in China in 2018, she won the bronze medal in speed climbing World Cup. So that's really impressive. But more about parenthood. I just have such respect for anyone who is a parent, period, but also who keeps pursuing their passion. And they, Roland and Alla, they are passionate about climbing, and they keep doing it and raising children. And there's more parents in this competition, and I think they should be so proud of themselves, all the parents who are here. Just being able to train or prioritize your time in climbing and training, that's already such a big win. So huge respect to all parents.
Yeah, and all the other competitors that have kids too that we haven't mentioned. Sorry for not mentioning that. I feel like there's a bunch more, but It's really cool as a parent myself and a professional climber. I definitely admire and respect. And much better from Alida. Her hips were so much further over, and I don't know if she's going to have time to have another attempt with the clock ticking down. There's less than 20 seconds. I would love to see her stick that move, and she does stick the first move. Great composure to be able to do that with the clock ticking down, but she really doesn't have much time.
Come on, Alla. Come on, Alla.
Oh, not quite
she
enough.
tried something new, but she had a smile on her face.
Oh, I wish she'd found that buzz a little bit earlier in the rotation, you know, just that last 30 seconds, it all started happening for her, and there is a smile on both of their faces as they walk away, but also Roland's looking down at his skin there, and when we talk about skin with climbers, we're talking about their fingertips and not their complexion. And their skin will be wearing thin after many rounds of climbing many boulders, and that's not something you want as a climber. You don't want thin fingertips.
So packed, the audience. And brushers. We have so many volunteers. You know, there were like 58 people signed up as volunteers for this event.
That's
And,
amazing.
Yeah, this event has been amazing thanks to all of the volunteers and people organizing it. It's really been a teamwork.
It sure has, and a big shout out to the volunteers. Thanks to all volunteers at all events, especially the ones that are here, and special thanks to the brushers, because I feel like they do an incredible job, but all the judges and everybody involved. I think it's the people who make these events possible, and they deserve all the credit for allowing this show to happen and allowing these climbers the opportunity to give us the best displays of their ability.
Yeah, and we have now Lea on route number 4. And we have Petras on men's number 4. Wow, this was a really good first attempt.
It was, and because we are on our second to last climbers, it means whoever we see in first position right now, you can tell us, Christina, they are going to walk away from this event with a medal. We don't yet know what colour.
So it's Oiva Laakso who is currently on first place, but since we have 2 more climbers coming up, he might get either first, second or third. We will know about that in about 15 minutes.
Not long to go as we see our climbers, Leia and Petras, really fighting on these first moves. They're not giving it away, are they?
And in the women's list, we have Ula from Lithuania as provisional first, which means that she will get either first, second or third place. We will know that after the event is over. Right now we have Lea.
Ooh, much slower from Petras there. And Leia, she's not quite getting the right positioning on this dyno, and you know, she's coming off and she's looking at her hand, suggesting that her skin's probably going to be feeling it out there, but she qualified in second place into this round, and she gave such an amazing performance in semi-finals, and it might not be piecing together as well as she'd hoped in this round, but I hope she walks away from this event really confident in her ability, because she's put on such a good show throughout the whole competition, and I'd love to see her stick this first move so she gets to have an attempt at the rest of the boulder, because I feel like if we see her on those top moves, she'd be breezing through. But yeah, hopefully we can see her stick this first move.
Yeah, I feel like she gave her... Ooh,
Yes,
and
here
she
it is.
sticks. She sticks it. She really gave her all in the semis.
Another tricky move, but really great
good
trajectory.
swing.
Amazing swing, just not
She
quite
knows
far
it.
enough. She does know it, but it also means she has to do that first move again. The route setters are sure testing these climbers to their very max ability, and I think they'll be getting a little bit nervous now as there's not many climbers left to go, and we're not seeing anyone get too close to the end of men's 4.
And now Lea sticks it. She's learned the move and...
And she go enough.
Come on!
Does
nice.
those hips. See how close into the wall they
Good
were.
job, Lea. Good job.
Now, as one of the shorter climbers in this round, she only just reaches the crimp here, but she needs to jump as hard as she can to get enough height to make this hold feel good, and she doesn't quite manage that. See how she was quite low when she hit that hold? The next hold isn't that good, so you need a bent arm to be able to control onto it.
Do you think she'll get one more good try?
I think she'll definitely try to have one more try.
And Lea, she's not only the shortest, but also one of the youngest ones. She's only 19 years old. Ooh.
Oh, so close. Still time.
Come on, Lea.
Get back up.
Come on, Lea.
Get back on the wall. Get up, Lea. I think she's toasted. I think she's absolutely done. She looks really quite tired, one might say.
But we still have one climber, two climbers, I guess. One female and one male coming up. So the event is not over yet.
It isn't, and both of these final climbers are looking to get a spot on that podium, right? So it's going to be a really good show. I feel like we've already got Elsa up there. She's in second, but she can take first place, so she's going to be wanting to do that. And in a World Cup, the climbers have a results board in between the boulders. I don't think we have that here because we only have one isolation zone. Is that correct? So it's a little slightly different, but just to give context, these climbers are walking out and they don't know what they need to do in order to improve their position, in order to kind of get out there and take the win. And Fadir currently in third, Elsa in second. They don't know if they top these boulders, they're going to walk away with first place. Even if Fadir gets the 10 points, he should be bumping up to first. And Elsa, if she gets the 10 points, she'll bump up to first. So they don't even need to top to win.
Yeah, that's correct.
Quick maths from me there. Apologies, I should be a little better at that by now.
What we do know is that Julia Selina is on third place, and that's probably what she'll be guaranteed, because Elsa is right now on second. She might go to first. And she stuck the jump right away.
She did, yeah. And I was a bit worried after the third boulder. She looked pretty fatigued on that, but she seems to have really recovered and come out here ready to give the best fight she can, and not quite getting enough swing there. I hope she's able to correct that on her next go. And Fadir struggling with this first move, and if anyone's going to do this in the dynamic fashion, like the 1-2 stick in the crimp, we expect it to be Fadir, don't we?
Yes, Fadir, I don't know if Czech was here and talked already about him, but he's a route setter and he always breaks the beta.
Much better from Elsa on the final boulder. She is a little taller, so I expect this move might feel slightly easier for her as we see her reach that crimp with still a lot of length in her body. She needs to jump up, stick that jug. She does. That should see her jump into the first position when the results update, but she's going to be looking for a top regardless, and she looks so casual on that last move, didn't she?
So strong.
So strong.
Elsa, and that bumps her up to first position, and Elsa is the winner of Baltic Boulder Championships.
Can Fadir give us the show that we all want to see? No pressure, Fadir, the stage is yours.
Come on, Fadir. So we have the open podium. We know who are gonna be on the podium, but in what order, that is yet to be
And what I love
out.
about Fadir and Roland, they have this quite comical rivalry, as they were giving each other some stick earlier, and there's currently only 0.1 point between them. Until Fadir sticks that crimp, that will remain the results.
Yes, so we have right now provisionally Oiva Laakso from Finland on first, Roland Rugend second, Fadir Samoilov on third, but this might change if Fadir sticks.
But he has less than a minute and a half to go. And he is pretty close.
Yeah, he's close, but he has such a big swing.
He does, so he needs to figure out a way to slow that swing down or to get his weight underneath the crimp a little bit more. I think he could take quite a lot of swing on that hole, but not with as much height as he's gaining. So his the way in which he's jumping towards this hold currently isn't working, and I think we'll see him try and change it up a little bit. Much slower on that attempt, and also he stuck the foot too. So I think if he can piece all this together, in fact, I firmly believe he could piece all this together, but the question is, can he do it in 45 seconds?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in many of the climbs, you just need this 1 or 2 extra minutes and you could do it, but they only have 4 minutes and that's it.
And right now he only has 30 seconds to go. That's going to be enough for a couple of attempts. And maybe not enough time to even get to the top of the boulder, unless he can do it very quickly. You know, you can see it in his face, he's frustrated. He knows that that is possible for him. It's just whether it's possible in the time and in the moment that you have to go out there and perform. Oh no, the clock is ticking down. He's going to get on for one last attempt. It's what we love to see. Climbers fighting right down to the very last seconds. Unfortunately, it's not to be. We don't get to see someone send. You know, these route setters are really trying to allow those athletes to show their best selves, and sometimes it doesn't work out with that sweet perfect ending, but we did see that from Elsa, so thank you very much, Elsa. And Fadir, you know, he put in a good fight, didn't he?
And so Fadir is still on the podium. He's on the 3rd place and only by 0.1 points behind Roland Rugens, who is on the 2nd place, and Oiva Laakso, who gets the 1st place, who's from Finland. And in the women's open category, we have Elsa on the 1st place. 2nd is Ula Korolyova, and 3rd place Julia Silina. So Latvia, Lithuania, Latvia. Such a cool event.
Really amazing show, and you know, we see the route setters stand on the stage now, and you know what, I think they'll be a little bit gutted that it didn't work out with the perfect ending, because they really do beat themselves up, and I think that it is such a difficult task to get these margins absolutely perfect. So congratulations to the route setters for that show. It was a great competition to watch.
Really cool, and such like world-class boulders, and I felt them firsthand, and you tried some of them as well, and you can confirm that they were really.
And talk to me a little bit about the organisers and who's made this event possible, because we don't chat about everybody behind the scenes enough. So come on, give us some names. Tell me who's responsible for making this the show that it has been.
Okay, so I do have a list of names, but I think the one that's put the most effort in is Ave Alviste, who is the head organizer of this event and has been managing the whole event, and she has had everything under control. A few days ago I called her like, did you think about that? And she was like, it's been taken care of 2 months ago. So Ave Alviste, the head organizer. We have Veronika Luidalep, who was responsible of all the judges and all of the judging, also courses, etc. And organized Werner here from Austria. We have Liisi Kasuk, who was taking care of all the volunteers, so managing a team of 50 people. Then we had the media manager, Remi Buld, who is a climber, who wrote an email, hey, I'm a climber and I'd like to help you. What can I do? And I was like, okay, I have a job for you. We have this event coming. Can you be the media manager? So super happy about that. It has been a teamwork. Then we have had all of the volunteers here on the spot, the route setters. We had, actually he's right now there talking, Roland Zamfir, who is the head route setter of this gym, and he was taking care of all the route setters to make sure that they are taken care of and they're at the right time in the right place.
And we've had a lot of amazing sponsors as well involved.
Exactly,
with this event, which is really cool.
I will start with the gym, Ronimisministeerium, and the owner Mikael Orkomies, who has been so easy to collaborate with, and
I just want to do a quick shout out to you, because you've done so much for the community here as well, and everyone I speak to mentions your name when they're talking about the progression of climbing here. So I think you're never going to say it yourself, you're never going to put yourself in that list of organisers and people who have made this event happen. So yeah, a huge shout out to Christina for all the work and effort she's put in to shaping the community here. And every time I speak to you, you say it's not about me, it's about giving other people the opportunity to make this sport better here. And I think that your attitude has really transformed climbing in Estonia and really allowed people to, well, it's literally allowed this event to happen. So yeah, I think that you deserve a moment of credit too, and many moments of credit.
And thank you very much, Shauna, for these kind words. And I do believe that no one should ever be irreplaceable, and this is my mission. I'm okay with igniting things and making things happen, but I will never want to be irreplaceable.
Hey, we need to start your comp career anyway, because you need to get out the organising and get back onto the match. Off the couch, coming 12th at a major championships. I think that's not bad.
But I do have a few more sponsors to thank. I want to start with Estonian Olympic Committee, and actually the General Secretary Kristo will be today presenting the awards. So
oh wow, that's amazing.
Really happy that they are here, and they are also cheering. Estonian Olympic Committee also has a new board and new energy, and I'm really liking where they are going as well, and I'm so happy to be part of that family. I want to thank Tallinn City, who is sponsoring this event, Eesti Kultuurkapital, then Estonian Climbing Association, Ronimisministeerium, this gym that has given this space for free for us, and this is big thing because they have as well rent to pay, etc. So huge thank to Ronimisministeerium and Mikkel Orkomis. And Mad Rock for putting out awards, and Red Bull Estonia for bringing in Shauna.
I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, thank you Red Bull for bringing me, because I have loved being here. Just really psyched by the community that's here, and yeah, I absolutely love Estonia.
And thank you, Shauna, so much for coming here for these 3 days and really inspiring people. And I see people are just excited to have you here.
Yeah, it's been really nice to connect with the community and just to be around the buzz. And I think that, like you said, you've said many times, the sport is really booming here. And I hear people say that and maybe don't feel it all the time, but coming here, it's almost like that's like under exaggerated. Like it's not even strong enough to say that it's booming, because there is just so much enthusiasm. And I remember speaking with you about this event some months back, and you said, I want it to be a celebration about the love of climbing. And you were almost nervous that sounded corny. And coming here, it feels like you've achieved exactly that. It feels like a celebration of the love of climbing, and you can really feel that. So congratulations to everyone involved.
Mission accomplished. Thank you everyone for watching this live stream. And from all of us here in Tallinn, thank you for watching, and see you at the next competition. Until then, keep climbing. And goodbye.
Good night.
medalists. Our medals will be presented by Shauna Coxsey from the Estonian Olympic Committee. Our Estonian bronze medalist, Shauna Coxsey. Christina is currently busy, but she will receive her medal later. Silver medalist, Anu Hark. And our gold medalist for the Estonian Female Championships, Leon Kersti. Congratulations to all of our medalists for the Estonian Female Championships. And now the medalists of the Estonian Male Championships. Bronze medalist, Rainer Rondoja. Silver medalist, Henrik Blomqvist. And the gold medalist for the Estonian male climbers, Sasha Soriko. Congratulations again to our Estonian male medalists. Okay, we're going to quickly go back and present our bronze medal to Christina Coates. Can we get our silver and gold medalists back for a photo? Congratulations again to our team of Estonian medalists. Up next, we'll present the medals for our Baltic Region champions from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. These medals will be presented by our jury president, Henner Maxter. In the female category, our bronze medalist from Latvia, Elza Knizia. And our silver medalist, also from Latvia, Julia Silina. And the gold medalist from Latvia, Elsa Paraka. Congratulations to our medalists in the Baltic Region Championships. Thank you. We're taking a brief pause to check something.
Ātri braucam mājās. Jā, tas jābrauc tālu ceļš. Skrien.
Agrāk visu laiku notika.
Kad tad?
Agrāk visu laiku notika, kad uz Latvijām bija viss pārējais, kad reiz sareiķināja, bet tad cilvēki jau aizbrauc prom uz Lietuvu, jo viņiem raksta.
From the climb-along system, the results we looked at had not been fully updated.
Excuse us a bit, we are all a bit tired, and we will now call the right winners, and also those who walked away.
Okay, so we're going back to our female winners of the Baltic region. So these were climbers from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. We found the correct results. Starting again from the bronze medal, our winner from Latvia, Julia Silina. And the silver medalist from Lithuania, Ula Korolova. And we'll ask the gold medalist to return to the stage, please, Elza Baraka. We apologize again to Julia and Elza Kritzea for the mix-up earlier, but congratulations to all three of our medalists for the female category of the Baltic region. All right, now announcing the male winners of the Baltic region. Starting with our bronze medalist from Lithuania, Petras Kostadauskas. Latvia, Tadeusz Samoilov. And the gold medalist from Latvia, Roland Rugens. Congratulations to our 3 medalists for the Baltic region. The male champions from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. All right, another big round of applause for these guys. All right, thanks, guys. Okay. I believe we have certified our results, and we will move on to the overall Open Champions for this Baltic Boulder Championship 2025. Starting with our female medalists. Bronze medal from Latvia, Elizog. Please?
No.
Sorry, that's the old list. Good job. Bronze medalist, Julia Sirina. And silver medalist from Lithuania, Ula Korolova. And our overall champion for the Baltic Boulder Championships, gold medalist, Elza Baraka. Congratulations to our medalists in the open category of the Baltic Boulder Championships. Give them another round of applause. Thank you. And now, the champions in the open men's category for the Baltic Bouldering Championships 2025. Bronze medalist, Tadeusz Samoilov. And silver medalist, also from Latvia, Roland Rugens. And the overall winner from the open male category of the Baltic Bouldering Championships 2025 from Finland, Oiva Laakso. big congratulations again to our finalists in the open male category of the Baltic Boulder Championships. And thank you to all of our competitors and guests for coming to this competition. We hope you enjoyed the weekend, enjoyed the climbing, enjoyed the new gym, and will return to see us again in Estonia and in Mustika. I've been JW. Thank you and have a good night.